Hey.
What's up, everybody? We're back. It's time for the City Comic-Con 2021 online show. Again, in case you missed it for our introductions first time, hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Richard.
I work at AGP.
I work at UVN Plus.
And this is the last and finale part of the Gem City Comic Con Online 2021 show. The rest of our guests are absolutely amazing. We have a really great creator panel coming up to you in the next 10 minutes. This is going to be hosted by the man himself, Mr. Bob Harris, the man, the myth, the legend. And I'm bringing you some amazing creators, Emily W., Tony Flex, Doctor, because if you don't pronounce her as Dr. Christy Bletch, you might be in trouble. Mr. Paul Story and America's Thom Zahler. And then to finish it off, we will have Twitch streamer and YouTuber Gael Level introducing you on being a content creator and using social media to help your platform. So the finale is going to be off the chain and totally lit, yos. Yay! But no, and again, big thank you to everybody, all of you over on Facebook, all of you over on the AGP YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for participating. The guests absolutely love it when you guys get to participate with them. Hi Brian, welcome back. And it's really great to build a community and still be able to get to share things that won't be able to be at the live show. And again, if you didn't know, yes, Gem City Comic Con will be coming at you in an in-person show on July 24th to 25th at the Dayton Convention Center in Dayton, Ohio. But due to the fact that we are in a pandemic, there will be no panels, there will be no gaming. So that's why we're doing this online show. So you still get to experience everything that you want to experience at a convention, because that's how much we love our community.
Now breathe.
Oh, question. Pick me.
Okay.
What's breathing?
It's that thing you don't do.
Oh, which reminds me, I need to go ahead and quickly grab something while we are here. Okay. Before I bring everybody in. Of course, it would help if I pull the file up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it probably would help.
Where's that Thom Zahler folder? Oh, there it is. I found it. Share application windows. This is going to be that. We're going to share that, and then we're going to pull it off of the screen for just a moment, because that is all about our next panel. They are. Why did it go away? It went away. Hold on. Let me try that again. Man, technology. It messes with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely.
But no, I'm really excited to have these guys. They are absolutely amazing. I know 3 of these people, so long time no see. Yeah, it's been a whole 2 minutes. But no, these creators are absolutely amazing. I love them to pieces. They are some of the most amazing comic creators that I could possibly have ever get to call friends. I love them so much. Let's see. Do what is right, please. Thank you. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. And then you could just minimize. Thank you.
There you go.
You gotta love StreamYard. It wants to get finicky sometimes. So even though the rest of the cast of the crew isn't here, I want to get to know somebody. So if Mr. Harrison would like to go ahead and come on and just say hi. Yes, no, maybe, yes. Cool. Hi, Mr. Bob.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. And you?
I'm good.
So you get to host our next panel?
Yes. I know most of these people, and they've been very helpful to me in my career as a comics adjacent person. And I'm looking forward to having a conversation with them. Some of them I haven't seen physically. Well, I haven't seen any of them in over a year, but some of them it's been a while. So
what do you do? Because I don't know you.
So we will know each other, but I write reviews and columns for Pop Culture Squad, which is a similar to something that was Comic Mix, but popculturesquad.com is a open website that's available, and we have regular columns from Mike Gold and Ed Cato and myself, as well as reviews. And we also host a podcast where we do interviews with creators that is available on the site as well as on all your podcasting platforms.
You're the Pop Culture Squadcast, right?
Pop Culture Squadcast Interview Edition. Yep.
Yeah. I got you. You're right. Boom. There.
That's right. That's right. That's where we are. And you can find that on any of your, wherever you get podcasts, pretty much, except for Apple.
So, one, I do want to say thank you so much for agreeing with Thom Zahler to help do this panel. I think you're going to be an amazing host. And I appreciate you doing this, so I get to take a break. I'll go play video games.
Sounds good.
We're just waiting for the rest of the panelists to join. So, hi, Thom. How you doing? I see you back there. You know what? I'm going to bring Thom on just for a quick second. I want to say hi. Hi, Thom.
Hi. How are you?
Thom, I want to thank you so much, not only for agreeing to be part of the show, but bringing this amazing cast together to do this panel. I greatly appreciate it, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, thank you. I am very glad that they all deigned to be part of this.
Yay! And I get to see Christy. I haven't seen her forever.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, remember, I still love you more than Star Wars. That means something. Look, in my world, that means something when you tell somebody you love them more than Star Wars. That makes them special.
I understand.
I'm sure she will reply, I know.
And that's the only reply she should have. But no, seriously. I was so thrilled when you said yes. And then when I saw the amazing crew that you have coming on here to do this creator-owned panel, I was just like, ee! And then, of course, I had to go mess with Paul because, that's what he's here for.
Sure, yeah.
But seriously, I think you got yourself a great host. I have all of your pictures. I have them all. I promise. I'll try to be on the ball as best as I can to put up the right picture.
Okay.
But,
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for doing this.
No problem. See? But no, seriously, guys, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. So how have you guys been adjusting to this new everybody's virtual thing?
For me, I miss the conventions. I miss them so much. I miss people. I miss money. I miss horrible food. I miss going out and drinking at night. But the working at home part, that hasn't changed. This is my normal world. So, everything is different except for all the parts that are exactly the same. So I wasn't knocked for as much of a loop.
Yeah, it's funny. People's like, okay, everybody stay home. People like me, I'm a podcaster and a video gamer. So I got this. I'm good.
Work from home in the studio office that I've built for the last 20 years. So let me see if I can make that work.
With my comfy couches and my comfy chairs, which, come on. I'm sure both of you know this, being, both in, you working in a studio, you talking about having a podcast. A chair makes all the difference in the world when you're creating in your studio. Oh, I love my chair. Yeah. Oh, these gaming chairs are the greatest thing ever created. I've got
a Herman Miller chair that I bought over 20 years ago. And it was the best, incredibly overpriced expense I ever paid for.
I think they're funny. Hey, Ziggy. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We're getting ready to do a creator-owned panel. So, let's see. Where's everybody at? Where's Paul and Christy? Did they get lost? I see Emily. Emily, I see you in the background there. I see you, sweetie. Hi. You want to come on and just chat till everybody else gets here too? Oh, there's Paul. She's like, no, I'm good.
Emily,
what are you saying, Paul?
Coming on near the last minute.
What were you trying to say, Paul?
Oh, I forgot that there are several steps you have to go to get into the studio. I was
just
thinking, I'll click.
You just did the studio for my podcast, Paul.
It was like a month ago.
Time is irrelevant during a pandemic, Paul.
Time is a flat circle.
All circles are flat.
I thought that was the planet.
No.
It is round.
No, flat, right? Flat, fall off, no.
Planets can be cubes. I read that in a comic book.
Yeah,
That is true.
that sounds
You know,
bizarro to
I'm
me.
Isn't
so
that dry?
confused. What is it? Is it flat? Is it round? Is it cube? Is it a spoon?
It's actually an oblate spheroid
Oh,
until you take the water out, and then it's this weird shape. It's yeah. So is Emily not joining us?
oh,
No,
she'll be
Emily's
joining.
joining us. Yeah.
Emily. Oh, you just want to chit chat, Emily?
Hello.
Emily.
Well, we got 2:15.
Sure, why not?
We're
Yeah.
just waiting for a couple of more, and we'll be ready.
Happy to be here.
Tony has a picture, and I see a bunch of books, and Christy's not here yet,
Yeah,
and
Christy will probably be a couple minutes late, I'm guessing.
that's fine. So, I'm going to dip out. Richard's going to dip out. We're going to let you guys have at it. That beard is amazing, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you.
But we're going to let you guys do your own thing. Again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Bob, I'll let you actually introduce everybody, tell
Great.
them what they're about,
Sure.
and we're out of here. You guys have a great time.
Thanks,
All
Amanda.
right, bye.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, welcome everybody to this creator-owned panel. We're going to talk about making comics, and I'm going to start off by introducing those of us that are here, and we'll get to people as they come in. So, first, if you don't know, I bring you America's daring, highly trained special cartooning force. These are his words, not mine.
Yes,
Thom
but I
Zahler.
lie for a living.
Thom Zahler is a fantastic cartoonist. His longest running creator owned work is Loving Capes, which just finished last year the fifth arc,
Mm-hmm.
and he's currently working on a new one that is available on his Patreon, and I'll probably talk about that later. He's also created Long Distance and Time and Vine that were published by IDW. He has created Warning Label and Cupid's Arrows, which were presented on Webtoon.com originally, but have made their way into print in varying degrees. And he could probably talk to you about that as well. He's written and drawn for My Little Pony franchise at IDW, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And we only have so much time, so we're done with Thom. We're done with Thom.
Okay,
Yeah,
He's also an excellent gift giver.
that
This
is
is Christina
is-
Hendricks. And he got me a signed Christina Hendricks picture back when she was mostly known for Firefly.
Paul Story is a comic writer who has written for DC Comics and brought us Gotham Girls, based in the Batman the Animated Series universe. His creator-owned books include The Wonderful Robin of Sherwood, which he did first, and The Viking Queen, the latter of which was published by Source Point Press. He's recently been working with Jeff Balke Studios on the Stanley's comic books, and
Jeff Balke Studios and Storm
and
King.
Storm King Comics, which is under the Storm Kids imprint.
Yes.
Correct. But all great stuff. And we don't have Tony, so we'll move on to Emily. Emily is a comics writer, as well as 14 other jobs. She is co-creator and co-writer of the Underfoot series of YA graphic novels published by Lionforge/Oni. Second volume is just about to be released. If you're into comics and small domesticated rodents, Emily is your woman.
That is true. That is 100% true.
And Tony has joined us. Tony, we have never met. So everyone who is watching, Tony is the only person that I do not know personally. So I do not know how to pronounce your last name, and I don't want to say it until you do. Fleece.
You say it however you like, but Fleece is how it's pronounced.
Fleece is how it's pronounced. Great. So Tony Fleece is a writer and artist who's worked on the My Little Pony franchise, Rick and Morty, Jeff Steinberg, Champion of Earth, as among others. And his current creator-owned series is Stray Dogs, published at Image, which is fantastic. Like, I walked into my comic shop and I told him how much I loved it, and the guy who behind the counter who's not, it would not be his cup of tea, really loved it. So that's great. And he's working on that with Trish Forster. And now, last but absolutely not least, we have Dr. Christina Bernich. She is everything that is great about comic books, and no one will tell you otherwise. She is the creator and writer of The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood. She has been published in EC Comics. She is co-writing the next volume of Broken Gargoyles with Bob Sally at Source Point Press. She is also the owner-operator of All Yeah Comics in Muncie, Indiana, and runs the greatest live comic sale show out there. You will find her too many nights a week on her Facebook channel for the live show called What We Do in the Comic Shop. And that's all of us. So that is great. Yes. Which an awesome logo by Franco, which is fantastic. All right.
Well, good seeing you all. Have a good one.
Yeah.
No, that's who we are. So
Paul's added everything he could add. See ya.
No, we have more. All right. Let's talk about creator-owned comics. Let's talk about, because all of you have done that. All of you made comics that are not franchisees or necessarily work for hire stuff. So I wanted to let me address this to Paul first because he was trying to run away. So let's get him talking. and other people can chime in as we go along. What do you include in a pitch? And subsequently, do different publishers require or expect different things when you pitch?
To answer the last first, yes.
Okay.
And if you're trying to land a pitch at a company that you have not previously worked with, make sure to go to their website and get their actual submission guidelines and then follow them. Unless you're, ultra big name comic creator, don't go, oh, it's okay, I've done a bunch of comics. I'll just, throw in whatever I want. Because that will, every publisher is looking to cut down their submission pile because lots of stuff comes in. So they, don't give them a reason to throw you out. What do I include? I mean, a lot of it is fairly general, kind of covers most of it. Like a series overview, kind of like, or a story arc overview. What gets the ball rolling? What are the impediments along the way? What kind of emotional turmoil does it put the characters in? And how to wrap it up. It's wiser people than I have pointed out. The important part in a pitch is to not save the good stuff. Like, if you're trying to tease an audience, you hold stuff back. In the comic, you hold stuff back. In your pitch, you want the publisher to know the cool thing. Like if you're pitching, if you're pitching The Sixth Sense, you don't want to go, and there's a big secret reveal at the end. Like, he's actually dead. Spoilers. But I do like a series overview. Then I try and do like a brief description of the various main characters, and then maybe a few pages of script, or better yet, if I'm working in collaboration with somebody, because I ain't a professional draw maker. Then I if I can manage it, I put in a few pages of whether I get script or full comic pages, as much as I can get done. Usually $20 to $50, just cash, untraceable.
Non-sequential bills.
Non-sequential bills.
Yeah, NFTs.
Yeah. Or as most people call them, WTFs.
So
Hey,
Thom,
that NFT?
Yeah.
Huh?
how does that differ for you? Like, what do you, if you're pitching, whether it's Webtoon or IDW or whoever, what do you include?
I circumvented the system a little bit because I self-published Love and Capes, and then when I took that to IDW, like, it already existed, so they didn't need to know too much about it. I do the same thing as Paul. I do an overview. I kind of try to do as little as possible because I want to do as many things as possible, and I want them to have reasons. I kind of set it up so that they have reasons to drop off at any moment. Like I'd let them know up front it's the science fiction thing. So if they're not looking for science fiction, they, I don't need to waste their time anymore with any more stuff. I'll include a couple pages of art if I'm drawing it, and usually I am. I'll do the series overview. Yeah, like Paul said, you don't want to bury the good stuff. But I've been lucky enough that the places that I've pitched, I've had some sort of relationship with already. So with IDW now, I don't have like a formal pitch document or anything. I send them a couple email pages and maybe a page of art and say, this is the new thing that I want to do, and see if they bite on it or not. When I pitched Webtoons, I wrote everything up as like a 2-paragraph pitch about what the series was with one piece of art. And then from that, once they said, okay, then I broke it down into individual chapters. Like I always said the beginning, middle, and end, but exactly how that went was structured more once they said they were interested in the idea. Yeah, that's mostly what I do.
Now, Thom, is it true that you almost refused to publish yourself on Love and Capes?
I did, because I had a big pile of money and burning it just wasn't fast enough. So that's finally what got me to do self-publishing.
So Tony, along those lines, and following up on that, when you are pitching or going through, at what point, when you're creating a story, do you have a long-term goal in mind, or you start out with just the first trade? Like, I love Stray Dogs, and I'm going to tell you again how much I love it. And I obviously there's the way things work these days is there's a first trade, and hope it goes from there. Do you have, how far out are you on that?
No, I mean, Stray Dogs specifically, I wrote as a self-contained story. So it's 5 issues and then a couple of extra little things, but it's just a one story.
Okay.
That's mostly how my mind works. And so the stuff that I end up pitching is always just like, here's this thing, it's going to be this long. Do you want to do it?
Cool.
So yeah, I don't, I just don't have like the concentration to keep like developing a story out arc after arc after arc. I can do like one concentrated burst, and then after that, I want to do something else. So
cool.
Yeah.
Emily, let's come to you, and then we'll come to Christy because.
Well, I'm different from Tony, actually.
Right,
well,
exactly. That's what I know that. So let's talk about that.
I love that because I love that because and I love Tony. But it's funny because, of course, when I pitched with Ben Fisher, my co-writer of The Underfoot, we had built out this huge amount of story background beforehand that we are now going into in the series. And that's the point of it, is it gets like deeper and deeper, and it's like this broad, vast thing. So I am really into the concentrating on what the thing is. But when it comes to pitching, Bob, as you know, I have also done other careers, or I'm doing them, such as in journalism, and I'm also an attorney. So in the journalism field, you do the who, what, when, where, why, and sometimes how. And that is really what you want to do. And you also want that lead, the grab of the story. So you want someone reading your article or your column to know why should they care? So when I'm looking at writing something up for someone who doesn't have a lot of time, which is another thing, as a lawyer, you learn to be very efficient because everyone's super busy, and you don't want to take their time with long rambling explanations. So you go in, you grab them with the thing that really you think they should care about. And in the realm of art, I think if you're doing your own pitch, you should do it with confidence and enthusiasm in your idea. So why do you love it? Why should they love it? It should be basically the same thing. And then you do your who, what, when, where, why, and how. And also, I always, as I was going through law school, it was like the thing you always hear, don't be your own lawyer, because you get really like caught up and emotionally attached to your thing or your problem or whatever it is. So I have an agent, and the agent knows what's expected of the company, or knows what kind of pitch they might want, or knows some good places to take it. And frankly, I don't have infinite time, as none of us do, and I want to spend some of my time on actual creating as well as the other work that I do. So I rely on the people that, you know, I am working with to know some of this as well and to tell me the best way to do it at this point in time. Because if I was a full-time agent, I would know what every company wants to see right now. That's my job. But as the creator, I need to create a pitch that fits what my agent tells me the company is going to be looking for, or fits what the current format is. Another thing you definitely get hammered into in like all the different kinds of work I've done, journalism, law, everything, is they want to see it in a certain format. So as Paul was saying, like companies are different. They want to see, you know, pages of art. Other ones want to see more of an overview of the whole story, or the first few pages of script first. So, you know, I go off of why I care about it, why they should care about it, the real fundamentals right in front, and then also what they want to see based on either the or the submission description on the website or what my agent is telling me.
Cool. Very cool. Let's go to Christy. When you were coming up with the idea for Charlie Wormwood, right? How did you go about the process of building the people who would work on it? You know, getting the artist and what went on with that. How does that process work for you?
It's different for everything, but with Charlie in particular, I was looking for someone who didn't draw pretty people, because it's a gritty prison book, you know. And
so neither of the artists here would have worked.
Huh?
So neither of the artists here would have worked.
I can only draw what I know.
Now, if you had wanted just ugly art, I could have done that.
Oh,
I can do stick figures.
Yeah, you should see some of the breakdowns I did. They're horrible. I did this first for Thrillbit, and so they were sending me samples of different artists that they had, and I was like, no. And as soon as I saw Cheese work, I was like, that's it. I didn't know who it was, and I was just like, that's it. I need this. I need him to do this book. That's all there is to it. I need him to do this book. And he loved it. He thought it was a great idea. And as soon as he sent me the first, you know, picture of Charlie, I was just like, it's Charlie. It's him. You know.
Awesome.
So that's how that worked. It just kind of worked out. And it was one of those things that about halfway through the book, it was supposed to be a little longer, but about halfway through the book, and we were doing it online, so it was new every week. There would be a new chapter. We did chapters. He got a job from this French company. They're fancy, for a lot of money, and he was just like, I don't know how much more of this I can do. And I was like, no. So I was like, hey, how about if we cut the number of, you know, issues, the number of chapters back down. We do this, we do that. Can you stay and do the rest of it? He's like, I really want to, so yes, I will. So we got really lucky with that. So you kind of want, and it was great because you always also want your artist, because this is a collaborative medium. That's what's so great about it. But Thom, he collaborates with both sides of his personality. You know, it's
He doesn't have the
right? He's got, you know, evil Spock, and so I sometimes just see him with a little goatee. So, but you know, it's like with Chi, you know, I was just like, he was in a different country, so it was a little different, you know, saying these are what our prisons look like. You know, our prisons are a little bit different than in Malaysia. So, but he really felt like he was a part of the book, just like it was our book. It wasn't once as a writer, as all of you know. Maybe, well, you, Thom, you do let some other people draw your stuff. It becomes all of your story instead of just your story. So that's just how it works with that. Tony, also, I have to say, Stray Dogs is so good.
Hey,
Like so good.
Thank you.
I read the one you gave me a long time ago, and I could not wait to get more. And I wish I would have ordered 20 more. It's just we sold out. So, well, actually, I did. As soon as I got it and we sold out, I ordered more. So they're on their way.
Thank you.
But it's amazing. So
You're very good. Thank you.
So following on that, Tony. So what made you decide, or what went into the decision to use Trish as the artist on Stray Dogs?
She's just much better at drawing dogs than me, and cartoon, these like specific kind of cartoon dogs specifically. It was an idea I had that was very specific, just insofar as like the format of it and what it looked like. And I knew that I could probably get close, but when I saw what Trish could do, I was like, well, she could do much better, and if she would do it, that would be how the book should look. So when I talked to her about it and she was into it, that was when the book really became what it is now. Because if I had drawn it, I think it would look okay, but like she draws it and it looks like how it looks. Like it looks like the book that we're talking about. My book Stray Dogs is like an animated style horror movie, and so we designed it to look like a 1990s 2D animated movie, sort of like a Don Bluth movie or like a Fern Gully, that type of vibe. And she can draw like that. She can sort of approximate that very well. And so that's why I chose her. Sort of like casting, like you're casting a movie or a show or something.
That's good. That's cool. So we talked about, pitching and how do you go about, coming up with a team. Once you've gotten the book drawn, written, printed, how does book promotion work on creator-owned stuff? Differently from work for hire stuff, for example. How do cons play into that and the lack of cons? How does that happen? Thom, why don't you start with that one?
Oh,
because you don't do any promotion for any of your books anywhere.
I don't. They're all very stealthy and cloaked. It's like that scene from Glengarry Glen Ross, Always Be Closing. I like anything that doesn't cost me money is worth doing. And when I started, I did a lot more guerrilla marketing. So I gave out books for free to people waiting in line. There was 1 year at San Diego that all the Twihards were there, and they were lined up outside the building. And I said, these people like super powered romances, and they're not going anywhere for 2 days. So I seeded the line to try to get those people in and do the crossover. I promote on Twitter. I do all the social media stuff. I do whatever interviews I can, do whatever podcasts I can. And recently I've tried to be better about getting other creators to recommend the book for blurbs before and after. Sometimes that's a little rough because I don't have enough of it done by the time the book is coming out, that it's harder to get people to review something that doesn't completely exist yet. And then all my marketing, like all my panel layouts or table layouts when I'm at a convention, I try to keep everything bold and graphic so that it's recognizable from a distance. I have a graphic design background as much as a cartooning background, so I kind of approach that stuff a little bit differently. And I've been told by people at conventions that they can always see my banner because it's either bright and clear or it's using colors nobody else does. Like so many of them are like all dark and moody and black, and I've got bright, happy colors. That helps a lot too. And it's even gone into things like I have a booth at San Diego when there is a San Diego. I've had that for 20 years now. And I can't give it up because it's such a great piece of real estate. But it was hard writing that check the first year, but it just seemed like the place I needed to be. And it's still hard writing the check every year, but it's a value for what it is.
Do you find then that your presence at San Diego improves your bottom line?
My presence in San Diego doesn't improve. It's hard to tell. Like I break even in San Diego. Yeah,
that's got to be the question you ask, right?
Yeah. Like I got My Little Pony because I went to San Diego. So that in and of itself has been, 5 years of work that I would not have gotten. And I got My Little Pony because I did Love and Capes. And I was doing that for IDW, but I could go to the editor and straight up ask him if I could draw a cover. And that became, do you want to pitch the series? And so those kind of networking connections, that I miss a lot with no shows. That kind of promotion has been hard to replicate. And my relationship with IDW came about because I talked to Harlan Ellison and he recommended the book to IDW. That's a much more complicated, awesome story, but I'm going to leave it at that because so many other people are here too. Yes. Harlan was wonderful. So those kind of connections that I miss, but those happen everywhere. Like I met Webtoon at Baltimore. David Gallagher introduced us at the Harvey Awards. And that led to him talking to me in New York, and that's how I got Warning Label and Cupid's Arrows. So it's that the person-to-person connection is the biggest thing that I'm missing, and it's harder to track like what ripples in the pond turn into something else, or who saw you at San Diego. And there's also, I think there's something that happens where you show up enough that people just assume that you've become a success because you're not dead yet.
Can I just jump in for a second there, Thom?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because for a while, due to personal circumstances, I had to cut back on my cons, and I was doing more stuff out of the regular comic industry, and people thought I just stopped doing comics.
Right. So there is a need to be there, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of presence, whether it's San Diego, other cons, like the Exceptional Gem City, who is our kind host today. But yeah, I think you, especially for like editors and other creators, if they don't see you, there's always like new people coming in, so you get lost when people are thinking, oh, who do I want to collaborate on something with, or who might be good for this book, or so sorry,
editors don't have editors don't have object permanence. Like when they close their eyes and you're not there anymore, they think you've disappeared. So you need to stay in their line of sight as much as you can.
So let's just follow up on one other thing. So Christy,
yes.
you are, all of everyone here has multiple. Nobody says I'm a comic book writer. I'm a comic book writer. Everybody has multiple venues to keep them moving. You are a comic book shop owner, so you see everybody's work, but you also you attend shows as your shop and as your other personalities as a writer and as an interviewer. How do you find that works for you in terms of getting your creator-owned work out there?
I don't know. I don't even remember what conventions are like anymore.
Yes, you do.
I miss them so much.
It's just because she drinks at a lot of them, and
no, I drink more now.
Oh,
Listen,
that's what
Barbell might say differently.
Yeah.
My daughter opened my refrigerator and said, "You look like a college student, Mom. There's like cheese and wine," and I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah, but it's good wine."
Fancier wine.
It is good wine.
Sophisticated.
Bucks.
Yeah, I have to drink with my pinky out. It's kind of fun. As moderating, it's like you get to talk to certain people, and then you can get your book in their hands, and then they tell somebody else, and they tell somebody else. But it only goes, I don't know how far that goes. I like doing a little bit of everything. I think it's fun. The comic shop thing right now is exhausting to own a comic shop.
Listen, you exhaust me, and I'm not doing it. So
exhausting because now that we're back open, it's like there's the shop that you have to get the new books, and you have to do the marketing for that, and you've got to deal with the people. And then I do 8 live shows a week now because I'm an idiot.
Yes.
But it's what's keeping the doors open. And it's not easy. It's like, because you've got to price the books, you've got to set them up, and then you've got to, even when you're in a bad mood. I got food poisoning one night. I had to be all like, and here's this book for $20, and I'm just like, on every break I was just like getting sick. It's what you got to do right now. But going to shows actually at Gem City, where we are, Gem City, is where I was introduced to Travis McIntyre of Source Point Press, who somebody gave him my book Charlie Wormwood, because only the first five issues were out then from Dynamite, and I hadn't really been shopping it around. It was just like one of those things, but that's where I met him, and then he wanted to print all of Charlie. And then that's what's turned into me meeting a lot of the writers there, and I'm on their board of directors now, and and co-writing Good Boy, which is going to be the greatest comic book in existence because it's a reverse John Wick. So
you know Tony's on this call though, right?
I know. You know, Tony, it's like I tell people about your book when I talk about Good Boy. I'm like, man, dogs are in right now.
For fans of stray dogs, I'm into it.
Dogs and the dogs don't get hurt. Well, some of the dogs get hurt in my book, but they're the bad ones. Just the bad ones, not the good ones. But I like John Wick just a little bit. It's you know, I may mention it just a couple times a day. My daughter informed me I cannot let my grandson watch it until he's 5. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Ben's awesome. He's been at my live show since the very first one a year ago. We just celebrated our anniversary. Ben's awesome. But anyway, John Wick. But dogs are in. But I'm co-writing that with him because of that. You know, I met Bob Sally. That's why I'm doing Broken Gargoyles. So going to conventions is extremely important because.
And we met at conventions.
We met at convention. I met Thom at a convention. I met Paul at a convention. I met Emily at a convention. I met Tony at a convention. I know, just like.
Plus, you never know how it is on the.
I met everyone at conventions too. Yeah.
I feel like I need to go like the Brady Bunch. But
Thom and I were raised together in a monster hunting family.
Also, I do have to say, with Thom at conventions, he doesn't really need a banner because he's like 3 feet taller than everyone else. So
I was going to say the same thing. He's like, "Hello, come over here." And
yeah,
there's Thom. The giant angry.
So
yeah, he smiles. Nobody else smiles. He's like a big weirdo.
Yeah,
like, can't miss him.
But no,
Paul, stop characterizing my people as evil giants. That's just Titus.
My people. No, conventions are really important, and doing all sorts of different things is important. You just don't want to just do one thing. I mean, it's like, Tony, you know, it's like you think, oh, My Little Pony. Well, if you think that he writes just My Little Pony and you pick up stray dogs, you know, you're going to be shocked. So you want to, you know, do all these different things. You want to go to conventions and do the interviewing. I know Thom's does moderating. Emily does moderating. You know, it's just like you just do what you have to do to get your name out there. And just like Paul said, you know, you don't want people to think you went away because there's always.
Paul went away.
As soon as you went away.
That's great.
Sorry.
Paul, we thought you left the industry.
Internet connection to match the rest of.
Paul's the Brady who didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. Okay, Alice. But yeah, so it's really important. But it's also good for it's like my dearest friends. I mean, Thom is one of my dearest friends in the world. I mean, it's at the conventions, and so not going to conventions is awful, and going to conventions is. Even though I'm sure last year or the year before, I was just like, oh, I don't want to go to another convention. I'm exhausted. Now I'm just like, please, please, please. I almost didn't go to last year. I was just like, oh, I don't want to go and see. And Source Point's going, well, you're going. So, and I'm like, fine. And I'm so glad I did because it would have been.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is all my fault because I just kept going like I just want to take a year off and not do a single convention.
Well, you're not the only one, Tony. There are other people who have said exactly that, and they're like, "Oh shit, I didn't."
I caused this.
Right. We complained, but we didn't mean it.
You needed to be more specific. You needed to take a year off only from comic book conventions and not from the economy.
The real monkey's paw situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
on the upside, I didn't lose any visibility.
Yeah.
Everybody was not at conventions. I look
forward to you being the hot new talent, Paul.
Yeah. That's right.
Level the playing field.
Let's talk about talk about some of the interesting things about creator. So Emily, what is your favorite part about publishing creator-owned comics?
I mean, the thing is that we can do what we want with the story because it's our story, and we can control what else is done with the story because, again, it's our story. And so there's a freedom to that, but also there's just a knowledge that, you know, this is the kind of story I want to be telling. So if I was working for Marvel or DC, for instance, you know, you have parameters or like My Little Pony. Wait, I'm pointing the wrong way. My Little Pony. You have these parameters and you have to like stay within their, you know, guidelines and everything. But when it comes to publishing your own things, I mean, there are some ways in which it can be scarier because you don't have those little safety rails. But then that means that, you know, you can develop the story to a greater extent. You can build the world from scratch. It's your own creation. And I mean, I also think that, this is my main projects right now, but I'm very invested in both the ongoing development and the success of the books because I want to write more of this story. And so, I mean, I think as a, you know, in terms of the creator-owned aspects of it, you have a different feeling about your work, perhaps a little bit. I'm sure we all care about everything we do, no matter who we're doing it for, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing it at all. But I like having the ability to make changes in what's going to happen. You know, when Ben and I developed this story, it was something different than what it is now. And it's followed a lot of the things we thought we were going to do. And then like a character took a left turn and an idea came up out of some science article we read and we put different stuff in the book. And like, I just found out about something like scientific that goes into something we already built into the book, but that we didn't know about at the time. And so we can just take the story in different directions. And that's like the freedom is something I enjoy.
Cool. That's awesome. We are getting close to the end. This 45 minutes is not enough.
My sad face.
Yes. But I
miss you guys so much.
I know. This is exactly.
I miss all of
exactly
you. Except
all of
Paul.
the feeling. I miss
Paul. I miss
thought
you
he
too.
left.
Wait, who?
Sorry, Bob.
Actually, it's not that people don't miss me. It's that they're done missing me very quickly after they see me.
So before we get to wrap up, I just have one. I want to address this question, and if Paul, you can start with it. How do you address creator-owned contracts versus work-for-hire contracts? Like, what are the differences in there? How does that? How much more invested do you get in that? Like,
Well, no matter what, you should have a lawyer looking and helping, you know, build contracts. I don't always, and sometimes have regretted it. Yeah, I mean, it's just ultimately you look to be equitable, you look to be fair. You know, if it's a work for hire thing, you look to not be screwed over. I was going to say that's one of the big things in these days in creator owned. You don't have to scroll through to the end of whatever movie gets made to see if they mentioned you. It'll be Underfoot by Emily and crew, not or Thom Zahler's Love in Caves. It's not. Wait, look, I made the mentions.
Yeah.
But mostly you just try to make sure that everything is as fair as possible. That sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes things kind of fall apart.
I really want to add to this as the attorney in the room. So if anybody wants a couple seconds of that, I'm just because I have some of that background. What, Christy?
Don't give up media rights.
Don't give up. That's accurate. The thing is, you want to think about what you want. When you're going into any negotiation, you want to know what your goals are. So think about your goals. What control and degree of ownership do you want over your property? And then you can think about what you're willing to give, and that's where you negotiate the rights. Now, there are certain guidelines that, you know, a company might expect versus not, but A, you can consult with an agent or an attorney to know what the norms are, and B, there's a lot of information online. It's really important to be educated as an independent creator about what the clauses are that are going to be confusing, what are boilerplate versus what you can negotiate on, because you get like a 5-7 page contract, and some of those clauses are just going to be there. And some of those clauses do not have to be there. But if you don't know which ones are which, you don't know what you can concede to get something else you want. So it's all about knowing how to negotiate. It's all about knowing what you want. It's about having good resources, whether it's an agent, a lawyer, a lot of reading online, other people who are friends and family and whoever else who know about this stuff. Don't use your family for free though, no. But, you can talk to other creators who've had these experiences. Tony, what's it like negotiating this particular deal for Stray Dogs at the point in time when you had only created this much of it, but now you've got this whole thing that's going to happen? What was your experience like? And hopefully they'll help you out. Some people have posted this stuff online. You want to think about your other media, your merchandise, all of that. But really, it's important to know what your rights are as a creator or what your rights can be. If you end up in a situation where you have a contract problem or something crazy happens, like your company merges with another company. Some of us have had this happen in the midst of our series. You have to know what you signed, why, and what might happen next. You can't prepare for everything, but you can do your best. That's what I would say.
Cool.
Very fierce about this because it's really important to be prepared and know what you're doing.
Do not ask legal questions with Emily in the room.
and on top of what Christy said earlier, don't give up your merchandising rights, according to George Lucas.
True.
Media, merchandising, anything else that's going to get you that extra.
But
and with any contract,
or know why you did it. Know that this is the reason I agreed that was okay.
Email Emily; she'll give you free legal advice.
No, Paul, I think it's time for you to go away.
All right. Thank you, guys. This has been fantastic. Let's do 30 seconds around the room, I guess. And what do we look for coming soon from Thom? Go ahead.
So I'm doing Love and Capes as a webcomic again, but I'm doing it with the characters going through COVID about 6 months ago. You can find that on Patreon, patreon.com/Zahler, and you get a new comic every week, and plus lots of bonus stuff. I'm having a huge t-shirt sale right now because I cleaned out my attic. I've got more issues of My Little Pony coming out, and the Kickstarter for Cupid's Arrow is funded, so there'll be a trade of that coming out soon too. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Thom Zahler.
Paul, what's up?
Though it is not creator owned by me, it is creator owned by Jeff Balke. I've just completed the second Halloween special for Stanley and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the complete thing. I'm working on several other projects. Should have some more. Should have some more Viking Queen. Fantastic. At some point. Got to get that nailed down as far as the exact schedule on that. And I'm working on a paranormal mystery romance comedy that I'm hoping to have placed sometime before the year is ended so I can get it out.
Which I'm very looking forward to.
And as Amanda just put in the comments, I'm facebook.com/PaulDStory and Storyville on Twitter, and Storyville is my website. STORRIEVILLE.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I think that's it as far as the near future projects.
Cool. And Emily?
Yes, I am working on the Underfoot series of graphic novels. Book 1 came out a couple of years ago. Book 2 is coming out April 20th this year. You can get it at all your indie bookstores, your comic shops, or if you can't get to one of those, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, etc. It's a comic book series for middle grade and up about intelligent hamsters with special skills who live in a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. They were developed by government agencies. This is not related at all to my work. And it basically goes through, the world they're exploring and the adventures they have. I would say anyone from the age of 7 to 100 would enjoy it, so check it out. And as Christy mentioned earlier, it's important to also do other things you love. So right now I'm doing live recaps on Movers and Shakers Unlimited, 6 p.m. Eastern of American Gods, which I'm watching right now because it's just fun. So I was just going to say, from what Christy was saying before, I've gotten people like watching from other things, reading from other things. So I continue to do other things as well. I'm at the Emily ESSC everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. My website, which needs updating, sorry guys, is at theemilyessc.com. And yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Cool. Christy.
Me. Well, we've got The Trade of Charlie out, Damnation Charlie Wormwood, which is about prison. So, you know, it's all just delightful fun. I would like to point out that I did have someone kill somebody with a pencil before John Wick. So, with the pencil. That's my claim to fame. I'm co-writing the second volume of Broken Gargoyles with Bob Sally, and it's amazing. I am co-writing Good Boy, Reverse John Wick, where the dog goes out for revenge, with Garrett Gunn, who is spectacular. He is so much fun to work with. We've got a couple other things in the plan with both of those guys. I just finished up editing Claim, which is based on a game, which is one of the cutest books I have ever seen in my life. It's just adorable. The art is fantastic. I am writing a book that I can't announce yet on another game, which is going to be great. I've got the store, What We Do in the Comic Shop. We're going to have all sorts of offshoots from that. I'm doing things for Comic Book Shopping Network and the new EXP, so you can check those out. I think that's it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And everybody goes to What We Do in the Comic Shop every night.
Yeah, What We Do in the Comic Shop. It's so much fun.
And Tony, what's going on?
Stray Dogs #2 is in stores this Wednesday, along with the second printing of Stray Dogs #1. It's a serial killer book where a murderer takes his victims' dogs as trophies, and it's told from the perspective of the dogs. You should get that. I'm also working on My Little Pony, which is not about serial killers. So I'm drawing.
You haven't read all my issues.
That's true. I mean, we're heading towards issue 100, and there's going to be some big twists coming up, so I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, issues 96 and 97 of that I did with Jeremy Whitley. It's about cats, which is the opposite of dogs. And I'm drawing drawing the Rick and Morty right now, Rick and Morty Worlds Apart with Josh Trujillo and Jarrett Williams. And then we're working on My Little Pony Transformers Part 2, which I'm writing and drawing just a short story in. So, because it's like an anthology setup. So yeah, lots of stuff. But Stray Dogs this week.
When can we expect the Stray Dogs My Little Pony crossover?
I mean, we're talking to Hasbro. They're a bit persnickety. They don't want us murdering. So, you know, we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I think we may be a couple of minutes over, but I'm Bob Harrison, in case you didn't know, and you can find me at popculturesquad.com. Also, our pop culture. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at popculturesquad.com. One word. But I am available on Twitter myself as Rob2Nightwing. It's weird spelling. I'm a nerd. So you can find us there at Pop Culture Squad, and also we have a Pop Culture Squad interview edition podcast that you can find on any of your podcast streaming platforms. Thanks everybody for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, audience is able to get something.
Thank you, Thom, for organizing.
Yes, Thom, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who participated. Emily, I'm a content creator. You're my new attorney.
I am not cheap. That's the thing. I don't come cheap. So
Tony, I'm just letting you know right now, you know who Pinkie Pie is in My Little Pony. How dare you not say that there's murders in My Little Pony? We all know who Pinkie Pie is. Christy, hi, baby. I miss you.
Miss you too.
Aw. Paul, Thom. No, guys, thank you guys so much for doing this. I greatly appreciate it. Hi, Rick, you could join too. I think you are the co-host. But seriously, guys, thank you guys so much for doing this. And Tony, I'm sorry that I was calling yourself Flex instead of Fleece, so my bad.
No trouble. We're good.
But guys, thank you guys so much for doing this. Sure. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Christy, me come on my show. We need to have the podcast. It's a rock.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. I know you do.
I know.
I know you do. Mhm. But guys, again, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, the city is coming to an in-person show, July 24th to 25th at the Dayton, Ohio Convention Center. Yay! Yay!
Yay!
But again, guys, thank you guys so much. We greatly appreciate it. We hope that you all enjoyed your time here, and we hope that all of you, thank you so much for your comments and everything, and we hope that you enjoyed that panel. And up next, we've got more coming. So, bye, guys. Thank you so much
Bye,
for staying.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Not Richard. Blah, 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 blah. Richard, you have to stay. You have to stay, Richard.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing panel.
Well, that's great.
Emily's my new best friend. She's an attorney, and being a content creator, I'm going to need someone. Let's work on that fair rights issue. We're going to look up that one right now. But no, seriously, what an amazing panel. What amazing people. Mwah, to you too, Paul. They were all terrific, so educational, and just seeing how they started off with a lot of their creator stuff, and then they got to start working with things like Dynamite, IDW, and other publishers was really amazing. So see, guys, you don't have to already have a name. You just have to have a product that you can sell, and maybe that'll help you get your foot through the door. But just because you're not working for DC or Marvel, that does not make you a comic book creator. Keep that in mind.
True. And also, I was checking out the Pulp Culture Squad's website. They got a pretty cool website.
I did not get a chance to do that because I was too busy answering messages.
I saw that come up, and then I go, "Oh, you're handling that."
I'm like, blah 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 blah. But no,
We enjoy
again,
everybody keep commenting. We enjoy the comments.
we do. It is amazing to see so many people on both over on YouTube and over on Facebook. I'm glad that we were able to stream this on both of those platforms. You're welcome, Paul. Paul's like, how do I get out of here? You just push the X button. But no. So next up we have a content creating panel coming up. I see one person already in the backstage. Hi, I see you. How you doing? But I thought that this panel would be very important due to the fact that why is that? No. We already did that. Oh, Tom, you have to talk about your card game. That's okay. I'll take care of it this November. We will in this situation that we're in, a lot of comic creators, even comic book shows like this, have moved to being basically content creators because you're trying new platforms with Twitch, YouTube, things like that. And so I thought this would be a really important panel to be having because being a content creator isn't like, oh, well, I put on a mic and a camera. There's a lot more, especially when it comes to getting your information out there. So I'm really excited to be able to have this panel. Yay! I don't know who all is going to be on it, but that information wasn't given to me. But I do know that there's going to be some amazing people with it. By the way, I love the fact that you have Gem from like Gem and the Holograms and Panda in your name. Please tell me that has something to do with it, and I will be thrilled. Here, come here. Come here.
Hi.
Come say hi to me.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hi, I was invited by Gael. Me and him are go way back for a couple years, but my name is actually Gem, and I wanted to get a pun for empanada, so Gempanada is my name. But yeah, I get that reference of Gem and the Holograms a lot, so it's just always a nice little fun, little 80s trivia fun fact for it.
Well, that is awesome. And I'm so glad that Gael could bring you on. Yay. Speaking of, there's my boy. Hi, babe.
Hi.
Long time since you've been on.
Indeed. Hi. Thank you for
By the
having
way,
me.
oh, my pleasure. By the way, I went through your tutorial to start working on getting my OBS working for my Twitch account. So thank you.
Nice. You're welcome.
So, guys, this is Gael Level, and he is amazing. Like, if there was a word better than amazing, we would be using that at this point in time. The reason why is because not only is he a content creator, being a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber, but he takes time out of his busy day to make videos that helps content creators be better. Whether it's doing DIY projects with getting better lighting in your house, how to spice up your stuff. He even does stuff for people like me who had to start out on console because our computer didn't want to stream anything. He showed, hey, look, this is some of the stuff that you can add being just a console streamer that still brightens up your Twitch or your YouTube. So, and on top of that, he's got this place called gumroad.com/Gael level, where if you are looking for some really great artwork and really great things to be able to put on your Twitch or YouTube channel, he has them there for as low as free. I don't think you get any better than that. And they are absolutely amazing. If you go to my Twitch channel, that's what I'm using on my stuff. Because why? Gael is the best. Is that like the best promo I can give you?
Pretty much. I'm gonna have to go back and record this just so I can, write it down and have it as my official intro for everything that I'm doing from now on.
This is who I am. Amanda, take it away. Thank you.
Pretty much.
But Gael, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Thank you for bringing somebody on. It'll be nice to see, different perspectives also with everything that goes on. Jem, you don't have to mute your mic. You're part of this. Come on in.
I'm used to it because I'm in so many Zoom calls. So I always try to I have a habit of making sure the mute button's on.
By the way, Jem is my new best friend. A, we have a Stitch, and B, we have a Keyblade. I see this.
Oh yeah, true.
I actually want your Keyblade because I've been looking for it for the longest time, but this is the only one I could find. So,
we're gonna have a Keyblade off.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm gonna let you two do what you do best. We all know Gael does not need me to co-host anything for him. we got this. And of course, have fun. I will be here to post comments for you if any are made. And thank you guys both so much for coming. And Jem, I'm getting you on my podcast. You're coming over and you're being on my podcast.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right. You guys have fun. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
That was such a nice intro.
Yeah, that was.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a very busy weekend. So I've started to dive a lot more into video editing. So I'm like tapping into my inner YouTuber now. So yeah, it's been a nice, fun, new experience for me. As you know, I mean, you and I go way back. We've known each other for like, I don't know how many years it's been. 5 years. Yeah. And we still haven't met in real life. So, but yeah, it's just great how like both of us grew in our different directions. Like I've seen you, like we both started off super small with no followers, no community at all. And then seeing you just kind of like blow up and like YouTube, and it's just amazing. And I always have respect for you for all the hard work that you put into it. So it's just awesome. So I'm always going to compliment you no matter what, Gael.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it. I indeed, like we met through Twitch Connect, right? Which is a Facebook group for live streamers that was initially created because there was a lot of toxicity in other Facebook groups, and we felt like we needed something, not necessarily a safe space, but a space with basic decency,
right? And moderation. So
exactly. So we started modding there, and that's how we met. And yeah, ever since I remember you wanted to be in the video game industry or the content industry, and you did it. You also managed to do that. So that's awesome that we both basically went our ways and were able to be like kind of successful in that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting how, I mean, yeah, I've always wanted to work in video games, but I just didn't know how to do it. But that's why I started streaming, just to get like a feel for it and something to put into like my resume that I do that's related to video games. And then I got a job as a community manager for a video game publisher, which is amazing. So it's a lot of hard work as any other job, but it's just, at least it's something that I'm proud to like at least dive into, which is social media. And social media has always been something I've been very interested in since like the beginning of time. Like I always like to claim that I was one of the first OGs of Twitter. I was like bringing all my friends and I'm like, oh my God, you should sign up for Twitter and do this. And we were to update it, you had to send a text message first to do that. And this is way before like apps was a thing. And yeah, there was just a lot of interesting history of myself being involved in social media. So I know a thing or two about it in a way. So yeah.
That's perfect, because I thought if we're gonna host this panel that is, the main subject that we want to talk about is creating content and the relationship with social media that content creators have, I think it's perfect. Me as a full-time content creator who's been doing this for the past 3 years, I guess, full-time, and you knowing so much about social media, but also from not only just from a content creator point of view, but also from a business point of view with, being a community manager for a company.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Personally, with my channel, when I give advice, it's mostly directly at, it's aimed at the content creator themselves, like mostly live streamers. We're mostly talking about like Twitch streamers. This is who I mostly target with my videos. And there is this link between a live streamer and a content creator, and not everyone puts it together, basically. I feel like a lot of people who get into live streaming, which is totally normal, natural to start doing a hobby or start doing something, getting interested in something, just doing it, but then realizing how vast this whole world of live streaming is. Earlier, I heard Amanda talking about, people who think you can just set up your camera, set up your mic, and boom, everything's gonna go smoothly. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that unless you're really going for that hobby status. And in that case, you can't have professional results if you're using it as a hobby.
Right,
The
exactly.
comparison that I love doing is if you play football with your friends after work, then you can't expect to be paid as a professional athlete. It's just it just doesn't work like that.
That's
so same thing for social media as a content creator. If you want, the very, very big numbers or even to make a living, especially with live streaming, you need to basically treat it as a professional. Just like as an athlete, you would train like an athlete, you would play with other athletes and all of that. So this is mostly what I want to talk about right now, but also the evolution of social media. I think that is something that is important, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just so much to learn. I mean, I can tell you from like a business background, just trying to keep up with every social media platform is just a lot of work. I mean, when Instagram just kept coming out with all these new features like stories and in reels, and now they're trying to do the shopping thing. There's just so many different things, and like you just got to keep up, and you have to realize that you don't have to use all of these things, but if you are very like, if you focus on one thing, then it helps to like really become natural at it, or just like you become an expert at it. Just like any other thing in just trying to be professional in something, you have to kind of niche down and figure out like, what are you really good at? I mean, I can tell you for sure, when I wanted to get into the video game industry, I thought like the only way to do that is to know how to code. So I tried my best at coding, and I failed every single time within coding. Like I've tried JavaScript, I think I tried C++, well, not even C++, that's not even part of like video game, but I've tried almost every possible like computer language to just try to get into video game industry. And I just could not really, I understood some of the basics, but I never really dove in and understood or I had the passion for it because I gave up for it. I was just like, I can make things move, and then that's it. So yeah, it's just knowing what you really like and then try to really like focus on it. And then that's when I realized like maybe there's a way I can just intertwine social media into it, and learning that it's actually part of marketing. So that's where the direction I went into, and try to learn many different marketing skills and know all the terminology. And that's where I landed up where I am today. So it's just, you just gotta try everything before you realize what works for you and what makes sense for
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Exactly. I definitely believe that at first you gotta everything everything you do needs to serve you as a lesson when it comes to the result that you get from it. It's almost impossible to start, like, in theory, learn about all the theory and then start and be immediately successful. It
Right.
is so hard. It's almost impossible, pretty
Yeah.
much. So no matter how much you learn about everything, there's so much that you will learn only with experience. That, the biggest advice for stuff like that is start doing it. Start doing
Yeah.
it, because my channel, I think yesterday or this morning, I reached 90,000 subscribers.
Nice.
But
Congrats.
thank you. But on my channel still to this day, there are multitude of example of my failed attempts, basically.
Right.
When I created my channel, it was because I had created this Twitch channel. I started streaming on Twitch, and I thought, oh, I should have a YouTube channel that has to do with gaming. I would post highlights or just gaming videos in general. And gaming was very much like a big thing back then, but it was towards kind of the end, basically. Like, if you were huge in gaming, then you would be fine. But if you were brand new at this point, it was kind of too late to get that easy clout,
Right.
as they say about it.
Right.
So the idea that no one is looking for new gaming channels at a certain point, no one was really looking for new gaming channel. They already had their PewDiePies, their Jacksepticeye, the Markiplier, and they were just watching those people, right? So it wasn't impossible, but it was very, very hard.
Right.
And I was naive to think that, oh, if I just upload consistently, people will watch. But it's not true. And I think that's a great example of, again, theory. I sat down, I came up with a plan, and in my head it made absolute sense. And in the head of anyone else I would talk about it, they would be like, oh yeah, if you're gonna be streaming anyways, so that's gonna be a lot of content that you can just post on YouTube, and the algorithm will love you if you post a lot of content. But the problem is, if no one is looking for it, they won't find it. And then one day I posted this one tutorial on live streaming because I thought, oh, I just learned how to do this, but it was very complex and I had to find information everywhere. Let me put all of that into a neat little video and explain it with, normal words, basically. And it blew up. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I continued posting my gaming videos. And then I posted another tutorial and it blew up. And now the tutorials were making way more views. And under those videos, I was getting comments like, oh, but how do I do this though? Or can you make a video on that? Oh, I love how you explain stuff. Can you explain this? And I was like, oh, well, okay. And, one thing led to another. And now I mostly post that kind of stuff. I stopped posting, the clips and stuff like that. And I was able to grow my audience that way by just trying, basically. So if I know, if today I can advise someone else on certain things that I know for a fact work and things that don't work, it's because I tried it and I failed at those things that don't work first. It's really not because we read it somewhere, or it's really experience. And there are so many different things that sound like amazing, genius ideas when it comes to social media. But once you put them to practice, you realize they don't work at all. It's just not that logical. And people often give up when they try them. So I think this is something that I'm trying to cover more and more in my content. When it comes to social media, I think it's also important that people realize what their niche is and what specific platform would go with it. Basically. For sure. Like, if you're an artist and I'm gonna try to find some example. For example, if you have Instagram and gaming, don't necessarily go that well together. There's a lot of successful gamers on Instagram, but no one is watching long form content on gaming content on IGTV, for example.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
Not a lot of people. It doesn't make sense. Like, so focusing on that would be detrimental to your growth, and you could put that energy somewhere else. And in your opinion, what would you say are like the top best social media not necessarily strategies, but at least platforms that are very beneficial for content creators nowadays?
Yeah. So, so funny enough, I have been avoiding TikTok for as long as I could remember. And then finally around December is when I gave in, and I was just like, all right, I kind of need to do some research and see, like, because obviously everybody's on TikTok now. I need to see like, why is it so addicting? Why is it so popular? And then once I started using it, I understood why it's so addicting and so much fun. And you know what? I'll just hand it to them like, this is a different type of algorithm that I've never seen before. Like the For You page is very specific and very scary how like it knows what your likes are. So, and they'll know what you'll be engaging with. So I think that's one. So TikTok is absolutely the one platform I think you can put out in the top priority. But you don't always have to share gaming clips per se. You can show a different side of yourself on TikTok. I think the best way, and I think this applies for a lot of other platforms, as you use all the different platforms for their own different reasons. So like for Twitter, I use it to engage in different conversations and talk about certain hot topics. And, streamer Twitter itself is just there's always something that's going to come up, but it is a place for me to engage and just discuss about certain things that's happening around those areas. And then you can use Instagram to kind of share a little bit more of, maybe behind the scenes of your life. So, you're just taking pictures of your setup or what you're doing with your friends and family, or what you're eating, that sort of thing. But there are different ways. I'm not super successful with Instagram, but the people that I have seen that use it, they do a really good job on that. But and then also, of course, you have YouTube. That's also one of the best ways to grow, because when you live stream on Twitch, it's live. So if your viewers are not there at the time when you're live, then they miss out on that content, right? But if you actually have the time to edit and post it on YouTube, they can go on your YouTube channel and then they'll catch up and be able to watch that content when it happens. Even though it's going to be a different experience, at least it's something that they'll be able to like understand like what happened during that live stream. Like a good example, like you watch Valkyrie and a lot of that group for Among Us streams. And there are some times that I catch on when live streaming, but then later on I would then catch up when she's has the actual video. And of course, when Twitter is happening, they're always like tweeting like what like amazing thing that happened. Like it was just like, oh, this was amazing play. And then everybody starts memeing it. So at least later on, they edit the video and then I can finally understand and get the context of what was happening. And so I can join in and meme along with everybody else. So that is a great way to like even just share more of your content, expand your audience that way. But yeah, it's just knowing which platform makes sense and what kind of content to share. And obviously just be more considerate to your audience. Just understand and also understand like where your audience is going to be. So that's why that's why a lot of advice I hear, they say like be everywhere on social media, but doesn't necessarily put all of your energy in each single one. Just I think what most people need to do is, let's say, okay, like Twitter, they are super active. They engage with a lot of people in there, and then they find their audience. And then once you kind of like, it's a little bit a part of like, it comes natural to you. Like you don't even like feel like, oh, I have to go on Twitter to do it. It just becomes natural as joining in the conversation and closing it off. Yeah. And then once you have that down, then move on to the next platform or next social media platform. So now like Twitter is now a part of my life, but now I'm kind of like focusing on TikTok. So now I'm like, all right, what can I make for TikTok nowadays? So it's just all about like knowing what makes sense for you, what you can find your audience in, and yeah, just finding all the balance and the right content that you put out there. So
I think there's also like a big personality, a way of expressing yourself with specific platforms. So some people will be very, very, quote unquote good at Twitter because those are people who always have something to say, or they're very good at that, launching a conversation. And, those are people who usually do really well on Twitter. But there's also people who are naturally, they will, if they go to a restaurant, they'll just pull out their phone and just boom, post it on Instagram, no filters, and it's a beautiful photo and stuff like that. So I feel like there's really an expression. It's not necessary. It doesn't have to be forced. You might take some time to get used to it, but at some point, I really think that it naturally comes to you as a content creator once you use those platforms to just post content. Right now, for example, I love posting IG stories, for example. And overall, when it comes to my marketing strategy, it doesn't do much for me. It's not it's not something that is great for my current audience or anything, but it's just that I got used to it and I genuinely love it. So when I'm doing certain things, I really feel like pulling out my phone and recording a story real quick. And it's no hassle. It doesn't bother me. On the contrary, it's pleasing to do that. And same thing with Twitter. Sometimes I'll think of something and I'm like, oh, that would make a great tweet. And I just pull out my phone, I tweet it. That's it. I don't have to plan it. I don't have it. It really doesn't even feel like work, really.
Right.
Most of the time, most of my tweets come from like when I'm in the shower and I'm like, oh, I need to remember to tweet that later. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think there's a real humanity when it comes to sharing anything on social media. But I feel like the platforms people go to different platforms to view a different part of that humanity, basically. Of course, they like on Instagram, they'll like the, beautiful photos and beautiful snippets, moments of your life and stuff like that. So it's very personal. But on Twitter, it's also personal, but on a different way. On Twitter, is more conversation, even though, some TikToks will go viral on Twitter. Some photos will go viral on Twitter and some videos will go viral on Twitter. But as a whole, I wouldn't treat Twitter like a photo album, for example. I wouldn't treat Twitter like Instagram. It wouldn't really make sense. And same thing for YouTube. I think there is a big personality, even though you can make like a show and make YouTube videos that are super polished. But when people tell me, I don't know what to do on my YouTube channel, I just tell them, what are you passionate about? What is a subject that you could talk about for hours? Make videos on that. That's it. And that is a part of who they are. That is their personality being shared, but on a specific format in a way. So overall, as a content creator and the forbidden word, the influencer, I feel like it's I don't like giving the advice, just be yourself, because it's kind of misleading and some people are not completely proud of who they are, or they haven't had the experience to really have this, to be comfortable basically with who they are and sharing that. But definitely share yourself. I would say that's the big advice. It's share yourself as a human being and don't try to overthink it, because overthinking it, something that I see a lot is content creators will get so focused on being content creators that they forget how to be human.
Right.
And it's the weirdest thing from an objective point of view, but I can also understand because I've been there. But sometimes I get questions from my viewers, questions that to me sound, oh, that's an easy answer. Why would you even ask me that? But it's just that they're so into it that they think, oh, the answer might be anything. It would be something like, oh, should I have good mic quality or bad mic quality? I'm like, why are you asking?
You know the answer. Like, it's common sense. I think that, you and I have been doing this for quite some time now. So I think we definitely can say we have the experience, and, some of the advice that we maybe have given or thought about back then doesn't apply anymore these days. Right. So it's just knowing you have to learn just whatever comes natural to you, go for it. And it makes sense. Obviously just make sure that it's good good content, meaning that like, hey, it's relatable and you write something or the caption actually makes sense. Don't be just writing like walls of text and stuff and you're just like nobody and no punctuation, that sort of thing. That's one of my pet peeves. But you just have to realize that like, hey, like sometimes like, you know, proper English or proper like grammar does the best. And then, but if you're memeing, of course, that will make sense to just like, you know, that all the rules go out the window, that sort of thing. Yeah. So you just got to know what makes sense for each type of thing that you post in there. So again, like TikTok is where I kind of feel like I feel a lot more natural. So I can be more of like silly and just join in whatever trending thing that's happening on TikTok. Whereas, you know, Twitter, I try to be a little bit more professional because I know there's a lot of people that follow me there. But again, it's just knowing who is going to see this and things that make sense to you. And I just have fun. And, you know, I think you have to also remember that like, this is something that you need to remember, like you need to have fun with, but also keep in mind of all the different like business tactics that you have to just follow in order for you, if you really want to grow.
Absolutely. Just like the analogy of training like an athlete, I feel like this is, I mean, it's, you know, content creator sounds like a dream job, and I still believe that it is a dream job because there's this fun aspect to it. You know, and it's almost required. It's almost a rule. You need to be having fun because it's hard. It's not easy being a content creator.
No,
of course, you get a lot of fun, but it's not easy. So if you subtract the fun from it, then it's not a good idea to even become a content creator. So I feel like it's a big balance that you need to find between obeying the rules, because especially when it comes to live streaming or YouTube content creation and, you know, social media managing it, none of that is really new. Right. Live streaming, broadcasting has been around for a while now, almost a century, if I'm not mistaken. So there's definitely places that you can learn in order to improve and not necessarily like obey every single rule, but find out which rule will apply to you. And something that I say often is, you know, we don't watch television. I haven't had TV in 7 years or something like that. Yeah. But I understand that they have mastered the art of making sure you sit down and watch it for hours. And your parents or grandparents still do it to this day. Why is that? Because they really developed those things. Live streaming has been around for 5, maybe 7 years. And it's there's so much potential in live television, or not necessarily live television, but television in general, that you could get a lot of inspiration, apply that to your content. And if you do it right, your content will automatically be well-rounded, but also might be even above average, because there's all those little, you know, psychological tricks and stuff like that you can add just to make it feel like a good content. Right. But of course, there's the advantage with live streaming is that you get to interact with people live. And again, we mentioned the humanity part of everything. So make sure that you feel like a human being. I've seen people fall into the trap of you know, that could be bad advice, the whole thing about television, when people end up just feeling like a host. So it feels like you're talking to this robot who's just smiling, who's just happy to see everyone and actually has no real emotion. And to those people, I'm like, show me some range, because in real life, you can't be like that. You can't possibly interact with everyone the same way. You will have moments where you're, you know, a little sadder or a little mad or stuff like that. So make sure you show all of this range. So don't be yourself, be an exaggerated version of yourself, but make sure you stay human no matter what you do. Don't turn into a weird android. So the content creation is the big balance between all of that. It's fun, it's professionalism, but it's also, you know, breaking the rules and coming up with, you know, creative things.
Yeah, I mean, so to get kind of like lean into more of the serious part of things. So as you know, if a lot of people are unaware, there was a whole, you know, the whole Asian hate happening around, like at least around the world, especially in the U.S. But a lot of the content creators that I follow, at least on TikTok, they always share amazing stuff and always are always upbeat, but they can't deny the fact that they are Asian. So they kind of break away from their usual content and just kind of like, hey, this is something happening and it's something very personal and I can't ignore it. And I want to bring awareness to it. And hopefully you all understand the situation that we face every day in real life. Like, it's not easy to always just have a facade and always try to be a character that you see on social media, because they are still human. They're still human beings. They're still are able to, they have the ability to just share their emotions. So I think that's why we shouldn't even put a lot of our, like, the celebrities or big influencers that we see on wherever in such a high pedestal, because they're still human beings. And it's always, I always hate seeing when like athletes or other celebrities are trying to bring up, situations like, happening in current events. And then people are just like, I just want to see you just make, this thing, or I just want you just play basketball, that sort of thing. And
The good old dribble and shut up.
yeah, that sort of thing. And it's just like, no, we're not going to do that, because we're not your playthings. We're not just, we're not just there. It's their job, but it's also, they have the platform to bring that type of awareness. So that is, I think, one of the things I want to always kind of like make sure to whoever does want to get into content creation or live streaming, because once you do start growing, you do have a platform and you have to start putting an example of people, what you believe in.
You have a responsibility for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's always sad to hear people saying like, oh, I don't really care, but if you have about over 1 million people kind of like watching you in some sort of way, you got to prepare for that, for that audience. And, again, a lot of content creators who do have a huge following, they're still human beings. They're still are paying their bills and paying, going through the old human situation. So it was just funny how, during this whole pandemic that's happening and celebrities are just like, are dealing regular human things and emotions, it's kind of like enlightening to see that. But
yeah, I definitely feel like there's this link that we didn't have before with the celebrities. We would just, you see a celebrity on TV in a movie and maybe a couple of interviews that are made just to promote said movie, and that's it. And we didn't have that link with celebrities before. Of course, it helps us put them on a pedestal like crazy, but it also sometimes make the public, us, just dehumanize those people, because we think, oh, they must be, we think that the image that we have of them is real, when it's not really. Like, when we really think of it, celebrities are people just like us that just were lucky or unlucky to be in a certain position. There's a lot of celebrity that I know for a fact, if they could go back and surrender their position as a celebrity, they definitely would.
Yeah.
So I feel like the whole influencer content creator era really brings this bond with the public that we didn't have before, and it's really good. And yeah, as you were saying, if you have like a following of 1 million, and even me personally, it's something that I thought a lot about before even being a content creator, is even when I had 10 followers, I was very careful with what I was saying and how I was portraying myself and what my content would entice and the type of people that would enjoy my content or would start following me and stuff like that. Because if you have 1 million followers, you're just as it's kind of like you're president of a country, because like 1 million people is like you can start your own country technically.
In a way,
all your followers in an island, you would be the president or the king, actually, because they would listen to you more than their own president probably, without putting political opinions in there. But it's like, you have that responsibility, whether you like it or not. What you say, the way you act, and your content, little jokes that you put in your content, those all have an impact. And
Exactly.
I deal with live streamers. You know, the age is mostly so, the age is mostly from, well, on Twitch you can start as soon as 13.
Yeah.
And I feel like the majority is something like 15 to 34 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And when you have a lot of young people and you know, impressionable fans and stuff like that, you really have a responsibility. If they're not your people as the king, they're pretty much your children, basically.
Yeah.
So you have the responsibility to kind of take care of them and make sure that they understand your values in life. And if you don't care about a subject or something like that, no one can ask you to pick a side, but you can at least direct them towards certain, like, the education. Because of course I don't want anyone to just become an activist, because, you know, a lot of people suck at it. So I don't want everyone to try, because it might cause more harm. But definitely point people in the right direction, especially if they ask you that, without citing any example. But I feel like if you have an opinion about a certain matter, it's kind of your responsibility to make it clear. You shouldn't be harboring a community that is doing the opposite, basically.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
I agree. No, I agree. As again, and that's a good thing to bring up, is like, you know, your audience, like, your audience is very young, and you just gotta, like, be cautious of the things that you put out there and what you try to, like, portray yourself, or even just like what things you say. Again, like, I still don't know my audience that well. I have a very small following, but I did, at least when I was interacting, when I had my community, like, they were still, like, in college. So, and I'm way past, I graduated, I'm, like, much older than them. And so I kind of, like, acted as if, like, they're their mom in a way, or their big siblings. So but you know, I kind of gave myself, like, I'm your streamer mom, and I want to make sure that everybody is taking care of themselves, drink water. But you know, I try to give them advice. So, like, hey, like, I'm stressed out with work, or I'm stressed out with classes, and I try to give them advice that, hey, like, take whatever you need to do to, do breaks, but also still have fun. You're still young. You're still young. You're in your 20s, so have fun with it. Don't stress about anything, because once you're in the adult life, like I am, it's a lot harder to deal with. But again, it's like different stages of life is always different, and of course, there's going to be some ignorance, especially as a kid when you're a teenager. So, but you just got to grow from it, and also just got to make sure that the people that you look up to are the best examples for that. So, that's something I always try to keep in mind whenever I push out on my social media.
Same.
Yeah, so it's rough. It's a rough time, and I don't think a lot of content creators or new content creators think about that, and they have to remember that, hey, like, you can't really be saying that type of stuff. But at the same time, if that's the target you're going for, then that's going to be a one way into toxicity. But again, it all depends on what
It's the
you push
balance
out.
again.
Yeah,
It's definitely the balance between, fun and then there's the responsibility behind it. It's the professionalism. If you're thinking, because we're saying have fun with it, but you have to think, hey, what type of fun would I like to be my profession, basically?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to cut certain aspects of, your humor or your private life and stuff like that. There are some things that you need to, keep private, basically.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't
exactly.
want to grow that part as a profession, even though it's part of you. You definitely have the right to some privacy, and also there there are so many differences between something that is okay in privacy versus something that is okay in public. I know
Right.
influencers try to really create that bond that we talked about, and sometimes they try to create it so much that they basically televise and publicize certain aspects of their lives that end up, coming back and biting
Yeah.
them, and you can tell that they regret it. I've also seen content creators that grew in a massive audience very, very fast, and we're talking about toxicity and stuff like that, so they
Right.
grew this audience with the toxicity, never actually thought about it, because it's human. You don't
Yeah.
talk, when you're 13, you don't know about every single issue. You don't know what your position, your opinion is on every single social issue. But I've seen content creators that I used to follow, because I don't follow them anymore because of the toxicity.
Yeah.
But I've seen them grow out of it, and then like when they view their own community, you can tell that they regret having grown that community that specific
Right.
way, because now they're past that, but the community is still in there, on the same behavior that they had before. So I
Yeah.
think that's a big lesson and responsibility. It's balance fun, balance professionalism, but also understand that nowadays, to give a little hope and to turn it into a very positive message, is that we live in this beautiful era where you can stick a camera in your face to
Yep.
simplify, and then you can keep doing that, and you will never have to struggle for the rest of your life. This is amazing, and all you have to do is be a slightly exaggerated version of yourself. For example, I remember you used to wash your dishes
Oh my
on stream,
God.
and those were the best streams. Well, not the best streams, but those were amazing streams, and I loved watching them. And you had a lot of people in your chat also saying the
Yeah.
same thing, and it's just it felt like just hanging out with you.
Yeah.
You hear you washing the dishes. It's like we're there in the kitchen just drinking and talking to you, basically.
Yeah. It's so random.
Love
Like
that.
I was
Love
just
that.
doing such a mundane task, because
Yeah.
I just wanted to stream, but I wanted to do something productive. So, and yeah, that's why I was just like, I'm just gonna stream myself just washing dishes and see if anybody wants to come through. And yeah, I had like a couple people in the chat just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, washing dishes. What else would I'm doing? So but yeah, it's just so funny how anything can be part of your stream or part of your routine, that sort of thing.
Well,
So
mostly a lot of people, you don't realize that, a lot of people want to watch you wash your dishes while but for real, there's so many people who are like, I don't know what to share, or I don't
Yeah.
have anything interesting to share. But you, as an individual human being, you are interesting,
Yeah.
because you are you. There's no one else like you. Your experiences, your conversations, everything is just original and special. So sharing that, there's a lot of people who are just waiting to participate in that and to enjoy that. We often think that social media or life I don't know about life, but I can tell that social media, for example, is not like, it's not a beauty contest. There's this idea
Yeah.
that, oh, it's beauty. That's not true. When I'm scrolling down my Instagram feed, for example, I know there's so many content creators that I love their content. I love their personality. So every time I see, even if they post like a simple selfie, every time I scroll down my feed, I'll see that selfie and it will make me happy. Like I will be genuinely happy. And it doesn't matter what they look like. It's just, I have this connection with that specific content and the specific creator.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that they're posting it. So I often say content creation is not a beauty contest. It's a presence contest. And just like you were saying that the highlights from a live stream would basically help you catch up on what was going on that stream.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the time to sit down for 7 hours to watch the stream, that is community management in a way. It's helping your own community keep up with everything that you've been doing, and yeah, that's amazing that we can do that now. So
yeah, it's a lot of basically you're a jack of all trades or Jackie of all trades, and just gotta like it's a lot of work. You got to put a lot of effort into things that you may or may not realize. So I think one of the things why I've always just been so cautious whenever I start streaming. I remember like even at the beginning, I was like, what can I share for like music in the background? And I did my research, and you know how like there's copyright that always happens. And I'm like, I'm not gonna risk that. So I did my research and like found what it's called, Pretzel Rocks, or some other platforms that like share like non-copyrighted music. And so that's what I use in my streams. And I try not to use Spotify for, mainstream music, because otherwise you're going to get hit with that thing. And then, it's crazy how like new streamers are just like, why am I getting this? I own the music. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So again, like I always try to give advice. So like do your research and finding out like what you can and can't do as a content creator. And
absolutely,
yeah, it's just always funny how they just go in and not realizing that there's a lot of legal stuff that you have to realize. Like, I think even one of the other things that I did my research on was about like giveaways. And yeah, giveaways is not something that you should be doing like on a daily basis. Like, because like if your government finds out that you're doing this and you're not following the rules, then you might get hit with something like a big fine.
There are laws about giveaways.
Yes.
And I had to learn that a couple years ago too. And it's important that there is indeed a lot of people joining and not realize. Again, we're talking about a profession. It's kind of like when I have people who ask me questions about their Twitch affiliate contract that they already signed. And I have to tell them, you should not be asking a random person on the internet about a legal contract that you signed, tying you with a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, this is adult stuff. You should definitely read your contract before signing it, and you should make sure that you understand everything that is in that contract.
Right.
And this is why I don't make videos talking about, the Twitch affiliate pay and all of that, because this is legal stuff, and I shouldn't be giving that sort of advice. I might point you to different directions and stuff like that, but don't trust a random dude on the internet with your legal advice.
Right.
Ask your parents, ask like a lawyer if you have to, but make sure you understand what it entices,
right. And there are plenty of people.
Copyright thing. About the copyright thing, you could get sued, if you're breaking the MCA laws and stuff like that. You are breaking a law, by the way, when you're playing a song that you don't have a license to. It's totally illegal. So if one of the big companies decides to make an example out of you, they are within their rights. So it's important to do that type of research. Like, luckily me, I was working in the film industry, so I knew about background music. I used to post like short films and documentaries and stuff like that. So I was well versed when it comes to using other people's songs illegally and stuff like that. So I knew about that. It wasn't a surprise for me, but it was definitely an experience to watch like the Twitch crowd discover laws about broadcasting in general. And I had to explain to people, radio stations don't just go to Spotify and play songs. They have licenses, they have contracts. Same thing with movie theaters. There's every broadcast system.
There's a lot of things behind the scenes that they don't understand. And that's why I don't advise a lot of people like, you want to stream? Yeah, go ahead and just have fun. But if you want to take it easy, not take it easy. If you want to take it seriously, then do all those research to like really see how you can grow that way. But if you want to do it as a hobby, go for it. But just be mindful of all these little aspects of content creation or streaming, that sort of thing. It's just your basic. This is literally your own personal studio, like broadcasting studio, and
your own TV show,
own TV show. And so you got to follow those certain aspects of that, and you got to like realize that again, this is a bigger project and bigger thing that you may or not realize. So and especially now that I'm working in the video game industry, oh my God, I cannot tell you like into details, but it is expensive. Like, I'm always shocked every time I hear about like, oh yeah, we have to go through all of these people first, and then we get the approval, and then we have to pay this amount. And I'm just like, wow, like I did not realize. And that's why I always have so much respect for people who do get into film, who do go into TV and music. Oh my God, music industry is a whole different story, but I'm not going to go into. But it's just me now that I understand how everything works in a professional standpoint. There's a lot of people are involved, and a lot of people, you know, do everything what they can to protect themselves. And I'm kind of glad that I do have some perspective of being a content creator but also working in the industry, because my job, at least for me, my goal is always to try to find the right balance in between. Like, I want to make sure my company is happy, but also I understand on the content creator side of things, so I want to make sure that they are happy whatever they do. So it takes a lot of convincing to my coworkers about like, hey, this is a thing that, you know, we should be more considerate, and then versus, hey, content creators, this is what happens behind the scenes, and you gotta like make sure that like this is not just like the big bag industry just trying to like take you down because you suck, that sort of thing. It's like there's rules, and that's why the whole DMCA kind of thing is like so important. And I personally believe that we should find a way to update it, because times have changed, and it's going to continue to change throughout history, you know, as we get older, because we don't know what the internet or whatever new thing that's going to come around, because we have to adapt all these new rules and new guidelines within content creation.
Like laws that are very behind when it comes to content creation and everything on the internet. Like with the pandemic, I feel like everyone is discovering what it's like to really be an internet content creator. So hopefully they will, you know, adjust the laws or come up with new laws and make sure everything is, you know, not necessarily regulated, but at least we have a good understanding, and we know that everyone in our governments have a good understanding of what's going on and what we have to deal with, basically. So they can protect us or protect themselves and protect the companies, protect everyone. But I think we're a little bit over time. So I think
you guys are more than fine. But thank you so much for letting us know that people need to be a human.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's important.
Oh, but since you guys were talking about, you know, watching out and doing your research, this goes for any aspect of any type of show that you want to do, especially if you're looking into Twitch or YouTube, because like there's reaction channels. You need to be very careful with that. You really need to look into the fair use. Fair use is there to protect people for their reaction channels, but you can't just upload an entire anime show and laugh at the funny parts and call that a reaction channel. That's not under fair use, people. It's like you really have to do the research. And, you know, you know, you were talking about, Jem, about how going and now you're on TikTok, which is something I don't have because I'm like I'm so terribly nervous because I'm one of these people and I'm like, oh, this is funny. Well, maybe it's not that funny. Should I post it? Should I not post it? But I do want to say, now that I know that all I need to do is start making selfies to get Gael to start following me, that would be great. But no, it's a very scary world. And, you know, both of you being content creators, both of you being on YouTube, both of you being on Twitch, you've seen, you know, we were all there for when the Twitch streamers went, wait, I can't use music. Technically, you've never been able to use music. You've just been getting away with it for quite some time. You know, because I remember the very first stream I ever did, I did a Lego game. I didn't know the music in the game was not allowed. And I went, oh! But it's in the game, you know. And so I'm a really good example of you guys really should have paid attention first and then started going into it. But I was like, oh, I could just play this, cool, no problem. I'll just play a video game, no big deal.
Right.
Oops. And you know,
it's not your fault. You like it's not like a wide thing that everybody is aware of. So I mean, again, like from my personal professional background, now knowing all these things, I know that a lot of developers or publishers are realizing this, and they do have an optional way to like mute those type of music, and you try to warn everybody. But it's great that there's some progression, but again, there's still a lot of work that needs to learn and adapt how, you know, what we're doing nowadays on the internet. So,
right.
But yeah,
for those people that are doing Let's Plays or looking to do Let's Plays on YouTube or Twitch, my best suggestion is before you boot up that game, go to the options, turn off the music.
Yep. It was there.
It's there. I mean, there are really cool games like Fortnite that, you know, they do let you go in there and it says mute all copyright music. But even then, you still got to be careful. Like, they have these vehicles in there. And for some reason, the vehicles will trigger the copyright over on YouTube instantly.
Yeah.
So you got to jump in, you got to turn off the music on the vehicles. But the dance music, if it's playing, is okay.
That's another story.
Then again, but as long as you have your take it muted, all copyright music, because there's a lot of emails out there that stuff's copywritten. You can't use it. So yeah, it's very important for people to go and learn, pay attention. And both of these people right here, amazing people. They will answer questions. Whisper to them on Twitch. Send them a message over on YouTube. Obviously, Jem is everywhere. If you want to get a hold of Gael, Instagram seems to be the place to go get him. You know, they are everywhere. I mean, look, here they are doing this show. And Gael, by the way, I'm doing this again because congratulations to you, my friend. Congratulations to you on that 90K. Seriously, I was so hell King Gael. Please let me move to your island when you get it.
I will. I'll send you an invite.
Welcome to Streamers Island or something. But seriously, the day that you agreed to do my podcast that day, I was so stoked because I'm like, I'm such a huge fan of you. And I do want to point out, you know, you're talking about putting celebrities on a pedestal. We actually kind of talked about this yesterday with a couple of other YouTubers. It's not wise to put anybody on a pedestal. Not only will you may find out they don't agree with you on something, but like you said, we're human. Yeah. We falter. It's something that happens. Some of us, it's on accident. We've seen a couple of content creators that are just in it for the controversy, which is just terrifying. But, you know, I'll make an accident. I may say something, not paying attention, forgetting what I was doing or something. And obviously, I'm going to apologize for it, but don't put me on I'm not a role model.
Pretty much.
No. I also don't. I just want to be an entertainer. I don't want to be your influencer. I don't want to be your role model. Yeah. I just want to entertain. You know. And by the way, I want dishwashing videos again. I want to see these. Like, I'm going. I just so you know, I followed you on Twitch and subscribed to you on YouTube. So if they're there, I'm gonna find them. Because, and it was just funny that he was talking about those because I personally do a stream every Tuesdays, bringing me and my crew on, and we'll be eating our dinners or something because it's so, you know, it's right after work or 9 to 5s and stuff. And this is just a way for people to see, you know, that there's goofy people. Yeah, we're a little exaggerated when we do our stuff because we're trying to entertain.
Right.
But this is so you get to know us, see who we are actually as people. Because not all of us have this big thing on Instagram or Twitter or, you know, some of us don't even have TikTok, TikTok, because we're still afraid, you know, even at 42 years old, there are times that I'm sitting there going, I'm really afraid to post this. I have no idea what everybody's going to think. And so it's a barrier that even today I still have to learn. I have no problem doing this. Make me make a meme or a tweet and I'm terrified.
It's all up to you. I mean, you do what you think it's comfortable to you. I mean, obviously, TikTok I've seen so many different people on it from different ages and different like backgrounds. So it's definitely, you'll find a community or find the right person that you'll enjoy and like. But yeah, it's just, you just, again, don't be afraid if you want to. Hello, Dougie.
Hi.
And just be whatever you want to be. And you'll eventually find it, what you like and what you don't like.
Maybe I should just take pictures of you and say they're my selfies on Instagram.
Yeah.
Puppies get a lot more love than I do.
Absolutely.
People love pets.
Okay, hey, you are not the star of this. Come on now. She did this during his interview too. She does this. She's like, I want to be on YouTube and Twitch and the social medias. I don't know what it is with dogs and wanting to be like influencers and content creators. It's amazing. Yes, I know. Look, I mean, I showed this to Gael. She has her own gaming chair. Like, how sad is that the dog has a gaming chair? It's like, here, do you want the controller too? You don't have thumbs. But seriously, both of you, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you guys. Now, I know I had Gael stuff all over the place because, like I said, I didn't know that Jem was showing
I didn't
up.
know either. Don't worry.
But I got this covered because if you're not following her, I know for a fact that that's her YouTube coming up. Bam, that's her YouTube, and that's also her Twitch. And isn't it the same thing? 3 for
yes, it's 3 for my for my Twitter and my Instagram. So because other people have claimed it for some reason, but yes, those are the 2 alternative names that I came up for my social media.
And then where are you on TikTok?
It's actually, it's just Empanadas. So that is great on TikTok too.
So make sure that you check her out. She's amazing. Find the dishwashing videos. Obviously,
it's really old, but
seriously, like obviously those are your claim to fame. And then, like I said, I'd love to have you on my podcast. So, Gael, if you could just send her my email address, that'd be great.
Definitely.
And then I'm going to be sending you an email. Make sure that she gets it because we're giving you a Gym City Comic Con virtual badge for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. Awesome.
But again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's greatly appreciative. This was very informative because, like I said earlier, I think this is important for anybody in today's day and age with the fact that what we've gone through. And we know that even as we get back to opening things up and things like that, our world has changed. Right. And this being content creators, whether it's any type of content, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is, whether you're a show, an individual, a podcast, a gamer, this is very important information for everyone to pay attention to because there are so many rules and regulations. Because it ain't just, I turn on, look, I got a controller, I got PC, I got a game station, let's go. No, I made that mistake. Don't do the same thing. Just don't. It's okay. We all make mistakes, but you got to learn from those mistakes.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And get yourself a chair, a nice, comfy chair. If you do decide to do this for the long haul, you're going to live in that chair.
Yep.
So again, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you follow Gael. Make sure that you follow Jem. And guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I will see both of you soon on the social medias.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
my
having
pleasure.
us.
Bye.
Bye.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think that was a great way to end our panels for the Gem City Comic Con 2021 online show.
Yep.
Hold on. I think I have something. I think I might have something. Maybe, possibly. If my phone will load up. Oh, he can't get in, low bandwidth.
Oh. Oh no.
Aww.
He's got to
I'm
crank
gonna
harder. He's got to crank his cell phone harder, you know.
Oh, that sucks. But seriously, a lot of great information these last 4 days. And we really do hope that everybody enjoyed everything. If any of those people that you saw that were on YouTube, make sure that you go over to their channels. Make sure that you like and subscribe. It really helps them with the algorithms and helps more people find their content. So please do that. And of course, if you know somebody who missed the Gem City Comic Con online show, make sure that you like and share, so they too can experience all the amazing creators, because we have 4 videos for you guys, a total of 7 hours of content. Well, almost 7 hours. We ended early yesterday too.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because let me tell you, I literally went eat, couch. That's all I did. It was about 10. I woke up like right before 10 o'clock. I was like, oh, I'm not even streaming tonight. I'm sorry, fans. I love you all. It's not like I didn't pre-warn you that there may not be streams this weekend because of this, but I am exhausted. I was like, no one's messaged me. I'm going back to bed. And then all of a sudden my phone goes, and I went, no, I'm not. No, I'm absolutely not going back to bed. But no,
I did our show though.
and good. I'm very happy that you're able to do your show. Gary. Well, in between the breaks, I was trying to get everybody their little things out. So for all of our guests, and if you haven't gotten one yet, don't worry. I'm getting it to you. I promise. I think it's no, that is not what I wanted to show. Richard, the darling that he is, because we love him so much, went and made something for all of our amazing guests for the Gem City Comic Con.
Uh-oh.
Look at that. So gorgeous, Richard. Those lines. The lines, baby, the lines. But seriously, Richard, thank you so much for making that. The guests seem to really like it. I was able to make the joke with Tina. Well, because, so little backstory. There was a Gem City that we were doing, and I have nothing to do with purchasing the badges. I have nothing to do with that. That is somebody else's job. It's one of the few things I don't do at the show. And we were running out of badges. They were getting low. And so I was having to limit badges and giving people armbands instead. And one of my friends who always does the show, Tina, she's like, where's my badge? I'm working on it. So when I sent that over to them, I was like, because I know better than to not give you a badge. Like, I know way better than to not do that. That's terrifying to not give her a badge, because Tina, she'll squint at you. But again, I cannot express how amazing everybody was. Thank you so much to all of the guests that we have, to everyone, all of you amazing people who have watched, shared, commented. It really, it's fun for the guests that we have. It's fun for us as the hosts, being able to have to work behind the scenes.
Right.
I even had to stop playing Fortnite for a minute because I had to keep paying attention to what was going on. Yeah, I played Fortnite in the breaks. I gotta level up. I gotta get to level 225. I'm only in level 17. I'm so far behind.
I was reading the chapter on Snapchat, so.
But I love doing these shows. I love doing the in-person shows as well, because I actually get to see my friends. But I love doing these because this helps build another community within both comics, bridging comics and gaming and Twitch streamers and YouTubers.
Right.
We see so much that people are like, oh, but if the one thing that I think I've learned when it came to this online show is that they're different, but they have a lot of similarities within them, because they all take on the responsibility of creating something for you to enjoy.
Correct. And I always love panels, because I've been filming panels for a long time.
Richard's always that little person that comes crawling through everybody and goes, "My camera here." Boom. How'd you even get up here? Where'd you come from? Hey. No. And of course, Richard, thank you so much. You saved me yesterday. You totally saved me yesterday.
Did you watch that?
Yes, I did. It was and then my mom's like, "What does he mean? Leave him alone again?" I was like, "Because he had to go off and do this, because I had to do that, because my mommy watched. I was so happy. My mommy watched." And she's like, "Oh, I like this and I like that," and I'm like, "Oh." I'm sorry, when my family members join in, like earlier, my sister was in the chat over on YouTube, but especially when like one of my parents shows up and they show interest in something that obviously I love and I'm very passionate about, I just get all teary. You know, it's like 42 years old and my mommy likes my stuff. So, it's a great pleasure to be able to do stuff like this. Again, unfortunately, Jesse's actually working at this particular time.
Right.
But a huge shout out to Jesse Noble, owner and operator of Gem City Comic Con and Champion City Comic Con. Because without him, we wouldn't be allowed to do these shows. So
Right.
a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for trusting Richard and I to host your show. Thanks so much for trusting me to start stuff and then ask permission to do it after. Because that happens a lot. "Hey, Jesse, you want to do this?" "Sure, that's a great idea. When you could get started?" About a week ago. You know, you think I'm joking. Richard, am I joking?
No.
Richard will tell you. I'll do that to him. "Hey, Richard, what do you like this idea?" "Yeah, that's a cool idea." "Cool, because I already started on it." That I have no fear of. Getting TikTok and posting something on there, yeah, I'm like, I'm not funny enough. No. But now, Richard, we've learned we got to get on TikTok.
I still want to see Archie dancing around. Remember, I was trying to get Archie on.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Archie, if you're watching, I know he was watching earlier.
Yeah, he was. But you know, being able to do shows like this is such an honor and a pleasure, and being able to be a person in a position where we get to bring these people to you. There are words like it's awesome and it's wow, but those words really don't express being able to do stuff like this.
True.
So before we go, I'm going to pitch my stuff. Why? Because I can. So what I would like to do is I would like to show you guys a little bit about what we do over on AGP. Don't start yet. Don't start yet. Get over here where you belong. Over here. No, I need you to. No, look. I love this. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, not there. I need you. It's not going to the other screen.
Why didn't you just play as a video?
Fine. Well, because I had to pull it up and I wanted to pause it first.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Because you have to pull it up as a video file first sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And mine was. Maybe it will. There. And so here we go. It's haunting. Give my tequila. Gimme. Thank you. I give you this for payment. Oh, God. And then I fix.
Kids. She walked to go get McDonald's for my kids. Like that's you're my running mate.
Her hatchet's powered up and it goes zing.
Oh, I didn't
Oh!
What the
Ow!
hell just happened?
Ow!
Hold on a minute.
We can go.
Oh! That's not good! Might have fell. Oh, shit!
But she's at the right moment.
Shit.
Nope. That one's
It
gonna be
really
done.
comes down to who gets the next one. Oh!
Nice. Go you.
I got
Is that
drowned.
your first win?
I got drowned. Suck it. Suck it.
That's like our second win in this entire game.
But it's my first one on stream. I am the winner. All right, I'm done with this game.
Hey, Kathy, it's Horde Night. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna die.
Watch out! Hi!
Get out of there!
Where are you? I fell down!
Wait, I fell down too!
The
building is collapsing! Run!
Where'd you park the car?
It's in the back!
I'm running for it!
So am I!
They're on it!
I'm in! Get in! Get in! Get
I'm
in!
trying! Go, 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 go! Go, go, go,
Oh,
go,
they're
go,
going
go!
down the tree! Run!
Just get a mom.
A mom?
Never mind.
I was trying to figure out what she said, and then she said,
Oh my god! That was probably the funniest exit I've ever seen. Never mind.
"Go."
Go!
Go! Run! Go! I'm so slow. Why am I so
I've been
slow? My
fraud.
first
I've been fraud. Get out my way, suicide. I've been
He's
fraud.
coming behind
I'm
us.
gonna be a
Alright,
fraud.
you gotta turn around, go back. Turn around, go back when you get to the end.
Oh no, he cut me out.
He's running with us!
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Around the trash can, around the trash, around the trash.
Around the
Let's
trash
go back.
Don't you have enough points for Darth Vader now?
No, I don't. I was literally 25 points away.
You serious?
Yep.
Bruh.
Bruh. Get the little bubble!
Was that an Ewok?
Yes, it was an Ewok. Now I could be Vader. Just gotta wait 3 seconds.
You see James and the Giant Peach?
Yeah. Oh, frick you! Oh, hell no!
This does he look?
Oh my god!
What does he look? It's Miss Spider.
I think that if you're going into battle, you should have a midriff. I think that that's really important to have a midriff.
Oh my god!
Put the face together. You should be able just to look at it and see what the face looks like.
Instructions!
I understand
put
that. I'm looking at the damn instructions.
If you can put together a bookcase, you should be able to put together a little
Bookcases
thing.
have 5 pieces. They got 4 walls and a shelf.
Look,
And some pegs.
they show you
Don't
the
forget
picture of the
peg.
Lego you need. It even shows you how many of the little badonky dinky dookie rises thingies that it has.
What was? Could you say that again?
No.
Go away.
Yay! So that's what we do. We are a podcasting group, a live streaming group, and a let's play group. Obviously we have a lot of fun. Oh, just a little context for that, by the way. The Lego penguin, she brought it to my house and I put it together so she could take it home to her boyfriend. Just so you know. So that's what we do. We do all of our live streaming over on Twitch. Then the videos get edited and get put over on YouTube. And of course, you can always follow us everywhere. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, and like I said, YouTube. Richard, you.
Me. I'm with Underground Video Network. We've been around for a little while. We started back on local access. We jumped from local access to Google Video, and then we actually decided to go to YouTube. You know, it was this new up and coming video thing. You know, it was pretty popular back in the day. You know, we did some video game streaming where we was reviewing content, and then that never went anywhere because, you know, video game playing on internet just, I don't think was going to happen, So then we decided to just keep going with our interview show where we go around to different creators and stuff and spotlight them and go into conventions, which that show's been around 500 episodes now. And we also do a podcast, audio podcast with Mike Boroff, and we've been doing that for it's almost 100 episodes now, but we're also doing video with that. So it's a video stream, then we take the audio and post it as an audio podcast, and it all can be found basically at undergroundvideonetwork.com. You can find everything there.
And of course, here this is their Twitter.
Yeah, which we don't use much. Twitter's not our thing. Remember, you're supposed to find your social niche, and that's just not our niche.
No, everywhere. Be everywhere.
We try.
But yeah.
As I say, just our website's probably the easiest way to find us.
Yeah, and they have all of their links over there. I was just grabbing it.
And we have a video archive of all 800 plus videos that we've created over the last, 18 some years.
I'm on some. But seriously, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you as the co-host. Thank you so much for doing this. If you make me do another one of these things and make me do all the work again, you're in trouble. Yeah. That's
okay.
It.
I talked about Twilight's first video.
It's the running gag for this, okay? This is Richard's idea. He made me do all the work. When in all honesty, I went like, hey Richard, you want to do something? Cool. You want to be my co-host? Cool, because I already started it. What's a good date for you? I'm free all these days. Cool. This is gonna be the date. Cool, bye. That's pretty much how the conversation went, didn't it?
Yeah, basically.
But of course, guys, we thank you guys so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Again, to everybody who started following the Gem City Comic Con Facebook page, to the new subscribers over here, to people who were following us because Richard got some new followers on his social medias. We greatly appreciate it. It's an honor and a pleasure for us to be able to host the Gem City Comic Con 2021 online show. Of course, you will be able to catch us over at the actual Gem City Comic Con, which is coming up on July 24th and 25th in Dayton, Ohio at the Dayton Convention Center. Make sure that you check out everything. They will be making the announcements of who's going to be there as their guest at the in-person show starting in May. Also be on the lookout for yours truly, TV and Wizard magazine. Yay! Like he said it, so I get to promote it. Like I'm stoked about. Like I'm telling on the mountain. It's gone. It's done. It's done. And of course, as always, we'll be back again with more online stuff because, of course, there'll be the Champion City Comic Con. Not that wrong button. This one, the Champion City Comic Con online show. Because, like we mentioned, and stuff that's been discussed. This is a new norm. That doesn't mean that online the in-person shows will be going away. That just means we're going to give you more opportunity to say hi. So again, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to the amazing hosts. Thank you to Jesse Noble for letting us do this. And thank you all of you fans, all the people who commented, all the people who watched. You're amazing. We love you. And we'll see you all on the next one. Say bye-bye.